What's going on, poor fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be reviewing round 19, Port Adelaide versus Geelong, in what was a very disappointing and devastating day at the Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide lost by 12 points after fighting back from a 35-point deficit at half-time. It was I guess a dagger to the heart of what is finals hopes for 2022, and while some at the club will still believe that this is still a chance, I very much doubt anything will be happening in September for Port Adelaide. There's 4 games to go, not a lot more that can be salvaged. It's out of our hands now, and Geelong were just too good on the day, so let's just get straight into it and review this game. Well, the frustration is definitely there. The heroics of the third quarter yesterday definitely showcased that the boys have a lot of heart, they have a lot of ticker, and they won't give up. But unfortunately, at this current time, we are not good enough to be making the 8, and that's simply due to a couple of things. One is definitely not being able to finish games off and finish those tight games and make those smart decisions, composure-wise, and decision-making going forward, or sensing the moment in that play. It was a very difficult circumstance, and I think as well is just being too standoffish with Geelong yesterday. We were trying to go without blocking as such, throwing punches, but we just couldn't land as much as we could have. In that third quarter, we nearly got the knockout blow, and it was such a great quarter. I will speak about that firstly, because for us to come through after 34 points down at halftime, everyone in the stands, and I saw on social media that it was very very negative and very disheartening, and you could sense that the crowd and everyone had given up, essentially, and that's not what Port Adelaide footy's about. So I was very much glad that when they came out, they kicked a couple of quick ones. We did let Geelong get one back, but then we just kept at them. We just kept bringing the pressure. It was almost like we were playing for something, but we had nothing to lose. It was like, well, if we lose, the season's done. But we're already pretty much in that position. Whereas that third quarter, it just felt so free. It felt so natural. It felt so Port Adelaide. And that was the beauty of that third quarter. And I've actually, for the first time this year, I just remember sitting at 3/4 time thinking to myself, that's the happiest I've been in a quarter all year. Besides, the comeback against Carlton, where I actually generally nearly teared up because I wanted to win that so badly, but also I was so proud of the fact that we came back and made such an effort to try and fight our way to the end. That's the sense of emotion that you get as a fan when you're sitting there and you're just hoping that this will be enough. And to be 7 points up at half time after being 34 down, a 41-point turnaround, I was almost sensing this will be one of the greatest victories under Ken Hinkley to keep our season alive. Unfortunately, the last quarter showcased that we just don't have that drive to keep the game going as such in those clutch moments, and we've lost a bit of touch in that field in our game. So I think for that to happen, it was you can argue many things, but at the end of the day, Geelong, they're just too strong, and I think overall, the umpires definitely had a bit of a say to it. I'm not going to exactly blame them. I think although Geelong were gifted a few goals on the day, we still had opportunities in that last quarter. We still had opportunities throughout the day to make amends or make an impact on the scoreboard, and we just didn't do that. And it is what it is. 2 players I'd love to mention that I think heroically deserve a round of applause and a big hug, because I just want to thank them for their efforts against Geelong, and that's Sam Powell-Pepper and Charlie Dixon. Charlie Dixon had one of the best third quarters I've seen from a big man. Sam Powell-Pepper was absolutely heroic. His attack on the footy, his drive, and his way, he's just made impacts on bodies, made impacts at the contest, and was able to get the footy out. And those two single-handedly pretty much brought us back into the game. And it was just enough for us to will our way. And then, the third quarter had its other stars. I think McEntee was absolutely superb with his pressure up forward, absolutely impressive. Burgoyne down back, his tackling pressure and his pressure around the small forwards was actually really, really impressive. And then finally, I think Boak was sensational in the middle, and Carl Amon could have hit a target to save his life, but kicked that near clutch goal at the end that could have brought us within. I think it made us level actually. So there was a few moments throughout the day I was really thinking, yeah, that we could actually be a really good shout here, and I think that third quarter was it. But Charlie Dixon and Sam Powell-Pepper, I think the roles they're playing are absolutely perfect. What I really loved was in that third quarter, I think Ken and the forward coaching staff really implemented that the coning on Dixon was a matchup we'd love to exploit. And I kept saying that to Dad throughout the day. We've got Dixon's a big boy. They don't have a big key defender to mark Dixon. Maybe we need to exploit that. And I think that's why Finlayson was tried a lot more in the ruck. And he tried his guts out all day, Jazza. I thought that was absolutely fantastic by him to really continue fighting. And, he's fighting against the young kid, Neil, and also Stanley in the first half, who was actually having an absolute ripper first half for Geelong, and he was absolutely dominating in the middle. But when Stanley went down at half-time, Finlayson definitely took advantage and started to play a lot smarter with his ruck contest, and especially in the middle, he was allowing the opposition ruckman to get a tap on it or competing half-heartedly so he could get the crumb and create himself as a fourth midfielder. And I thought that was a key component as well as to why we were starting to winning the centre clearances and really putting the pressure on Geelong's back half. And that's what happens when you put the back half pressure on Geelong. You exploit the Henrys, the De Konings, and the kids they have down there. And De Koning on Dixon was a matchup that Dixon perfectly suited, and he could have kicked 2 more goals, I think, throughout the day. But it was the 2 goals he kicked in the third quarter, his man-mountain hands, his paddleboard hands that he uses. I think it was 11 touches, 2 score involvements. He has so many pressure acts, and he was absolutely heroic in that middle when he was in the ruck, and his beast mode was turned on. And yeah, it does suck that you get performances like that in a quarter that really drive your team towards a potential victory. But he had everyone come with him in that third quarter. The belief was sensational, and it was driven by Sam Powell-Pepper. His start to the game was awesome. And he continued his efforts throughout the day. He didn't stop. And everyone else sort of laboured in and out of the contest. And that third quarter is just the blueprint of what I want to see from Port Adelaide from now on for 4 quarters. It's a month to go. You're going to have these performances. You've got Collingwood at the G. You've got Richmond at home. You've got Essendon at Marvel. And you've got the Crows in the showdown for the last round of the year. It's up to Port now to finish the season. I'm going to challenge them and say finish the season with 4 wins. What could have been, we'll answer that at the end of the season. 4 wins to finish the season, to have, I don't know, whatever you can salvage, some pride, some belief, anything that will make you think 2023, the switch is going to be flicked back on. Just a couple more things I want to add before I stop this review, because I know a lot of negativity is obviously going to be said this week, and I just want to say the matchups down back were very questionable. Gary Rowan with Aaliyah, I don't think that really worked, although Aaliyah in the air was sensational. And Tom Cleary on Hawkins, I don't think we've ever had a matchup for Tom Hawkins since he started his career. And under Ken Hinkley, I don't think we've ever had an opportunity. Mackenzie, obviously, in that 2020 final last year, Hawkins kicked 1 goal for the game. And Mackenzie's probably been the one that's really shut him down, but overall, it hasn't really been a matchup we've been able to get, and I think that's something that we need to look at next time we play Geelong, and that really hurt us throughout the day. And the other thing I think as well is the conversations that are going to happen throughout the rest of the, you've got your Carl Amon contract talks, you've got your Ken Hinkley coaching talks. They're all going to come, and they're going to ramp up some more now because the season's pretty much done. So there's still 4 games to go. So the season's not done. The finals chances are all but done. And I'm going to keep looking at it as a game-by-game progress until we get to the end of the year. And that's when we really can start trying to answer these questions or figuring out a solution. Thank you for watching, Port fans. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content. Make sure you comment below your thoughts. I'm really looking forward to reading a few. I've definitely seen some conversations in there that I've wanted to chime in to, and I love when the feedback comes. So make sure you just get commenting, and we'll have a bit of a conversation about Port Adelaide with the last 4 games to come. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Anthony, and as always, ThePear.